It has been announced that astronaut Eugene Cernan of Gemini 9, Apollo 10 and Apollo 17 has died in hospital at the age of 82 following health complications. Obviously it goes without saying where I stand regarding the Apollo missions. Apollos 10 and 17 were both hoaxes. In fact, I've always called him card trick champion Cernan after he deliberately stuck a big Apollo 10 insignia card over the camera lens so that there wouldn't be a seamless transition from exterior to interior shots.
We'll give you a quick shot on the interior now, and then we'll terminate this pass. We'll go inside now.
Roger, very good. Thank you much for the view. We'll be standing by for the inside.
But nonetheless, I've always admired Cernan for his role and near-death experience aboard Gemini 9. While Cernan himself always believed Gemini 9 was a failure, it proved that spacewalking is not a walk in the park, and that gravity should not be taken for granted. While Edward White's spacewalk was simply to get out and get back in, Cernan's spacewalk required complex tasks. These included assembling a rocket pack, putting it on, and taking it for a test drive. But without handrails or gravity holding him down, Cernan found it extraordinarily difficult to assemble the rocket pack in space, sweating profusely and nearly passing out as a result of it.
Every time I'd push or turn a valve, it would turn my entire body in zero gravity. I had nothing to hold on to. And we take for granted gravity because we can do that kind of work with ease if something is holding our feet to the ground. Nothing was holding me anywhere.
Within a few minutes, he fogged over. We were so naive, we didn't even think about putting defog on our visor like you do when you go snorkeling or scuba diving. And so he was huffing and puffing, and I was flying the spacecraft. He says, "Tom, I've got a hard time controlling myself."
And it was a very, in retrospect, somewhat of a hair-raising thing. And there were probably times where there were people down here on Earth wondered whether I'd get back in because my heart rate was running at 170 beats a minute.
Even when the EVA was aborted, Cernan had difficulty finding his way back to the Gemini, leading to fears that Thomas Stafford would need to cut Cernan's umbilical line or re-enter the atmosphere with an open Gemini 9 door and dragging Cernan's dead body in tow.
The Gemini would be in front, but this thing is going to be whipping us all around. I says, and furthermore, I've got an open hatch, and all I have is this thin suit was in just one layer of nylon. And I've got 3,200 degree plasma coming a couple of inches right above my shoulders through that open hatch. So he's got 7 layers of insulation. That's not going to help him too much. He's dead anyway, but I've got 1 layer here, and this plasma is going to come through the hatch. And then suppose we even get through all that, then a pilot chute comes out. Is that going to get snared with what's left of Cernan? And then here comes the main parachute out. Is that going to get snared and with what's left up there? And so here I'm going to plop down in the ocean with a hatch open. What happens then? And he says, well, what should I tell NASA management? And I said, probably I'll cut him loose. If he really is dead, I'll do all I can. But if he's dead, there's a good chance you're going to jeopardize the spacecraft and me too.
Stafford was just going to literally have to cut the cord, and I might still be a satellite out there traveling through the sky 20, 30 years later.
Fortunately, Cernan made it back to the capsule, and the near-death experience contributed towards NASA rethinking how they train astronauts for spacewalks and what is required. This led to training astronauts in underwater tanks and handrails outside the spacecrafts. This was all because of Cernan's near-death experience aboard Gemini 9. He took a hit for all mankind so those following in his footsteps wouldn't have to. I never met Eugene Cernan personally, but I did watch him from afar when he visited Sydney, Australia last year for the premiere of his Last Man on the Moon documentary. Only a few pre-selected questions, mostly from children, were asked, and no video recording of the event was permitted, although I managed to secretly record some audio. During the Q&A session of the event, Cernan twice made this odd statement. I offer my sincerest condolences to the family and friends of Eugene Cernan, the hero of Gemini 9. Rest in peace, Gene.